Tucson Storm Tracker 4 weather team presents Preparing for Monsoon 2024. This special program is brought to you by Pools by Design.
And those are the familiar sounds and sights of monsoon. Good evening, and thank you for joining us for this special edition of News 4 Tucson, Preparing for Monsoon 2024. I'm Storm Tracker 4 Chief Meteorologist Matt Brode, and I'm joined by the News 4 Tucson Storm Tracker 4 team. We have you covered on everything you need to know ahead of this year's monsoon. Well, if Mother Nature has taught us anything over the past several years, it's to be ready and prepared for the unexpected. From a historic dry and hot monsoon in 2020 to an equally historic wet monsoon in 2021, and finally to what we could call a typical monsoon last year, it's been one extreme summer after another. Much of what we are learning from climate change is that these extreme monsoon patterns can and will become far more common. Just look at the past year. We saw snow on the valley floors while also seeing the greatest number of days with temperatures over 110 degrees. The idea of an endless spring with temperatures in the 70s and 80s sounds great, but extreme heat is a must in order to jumpstart our monsoon. So just how does our monsoon machine get going? It's important to note that long before we see our daily rounds of thunderstorms in southeastern Arizona, storms have already been firing up along the Sierra Madre Mountains of Mexico. This is where a monsoon is born. Strong high pressure bakes northern Mexico and gets these storms fired up. Typically, our part of the state will have had a few weeks of temperatures already well above 100 degrees. As June turns into July, that high pressure goes farther north and finds its home near the Four Corners. Winds blow clockwise around high pressure, and with the heat in place, providing the instability for storms to stir, we now have our final ingredient in place to create rain. A surge of moisture moving into the area from the southeast. Remember, the monsoon runs from June 15th through September 30th, and we see about half of our annual rain during this time frame. That amount is just under 6 inches. So what's our monsoon prediction, and what goes into our Storm Tracker 4 forecast? The latest summer outlook from the Climate Prediction Center places much of southern Arizona with the odds favoring a slightly below average rain forecast for July, August, and September. So how do we come up with the forecast of slightly below average? Well, we take into consideration an El Nino or a La Nina cycle. There is evidence that our current El Nino may soon transition into a La Nina. La Ninas often, but not always, yield less monsoon rain, but once again, this change has not happened yet. Lots of winter and spring valley rain and mountain snow has left much of our soil on the moist side. As a result, this could delay our summer high pressure cell that steers the Mexican monsoon our way. So based on these factors, we came up with a slightly below average rain forecast for monsoon 2024. Remember, with climate change, we will see more extreme events in the future, and as always, expect the unexpected. So we shall see about that. Meanwhile, we have a few reminders that just might save your life. Driving around barricades, it's illegal and dangerous. Never drive through flooded roadways. Turn around. Don't drown. Avoid storm drains, washes, and make sure you don't let children play near them. If your vehicle gets caught in rising water, leave it. Move to higher ground. Remember, it only takes 10 inches of water to float cars, vans, SUVs, and trucks. And when in doubt, wait it out or find yourself a safer route. Lightning can strike at any time and place. It can also be deadly. Especially during the monsoon in the United States, lightning kills about 20 people each year and can injure hundreds more. It's a second leading cause of weather-related deaths. Storm Tracker 4 Isabella Fredrickson joins us with what you need to know to stay safe this season. Isabella.
Lightning is hotter than the surface of the sun, yet is no bigger than the size of your pinky. But it strikes a punch when it strikes. Lightning plays a crucial role in maintaining Earth's electrical balance by transferring negative charges from clouds to the Earth's surface during thunderstorms. As a storm develops, there are millions of collisions between liquid, ice, and hail, which creates positive and negative electrical charges. The negative charges are called stepped leaders, which try to connect with the positively charged particles, called streamers, as quickly as possible. As soon as the two meet, they complete the circuit and create the lightning strike that we see. Remember, when thunder roars, go indoors. If you can't seek shelter from a storm inside of a building or home, a car is the next safest spot. Dr. Lourdes Castanon is the director of the burn program at Banner University Medical Center, Tucson. She says if you are in danger, tell somebody and get to safety.
First thing is call for help so that you know that you have backup, and then start CPR as soon as you can.
Keep you and your family safe by always checking the forecast before going outdoors. If you hear thunder, head inside and wait at least 30 minutes after the last rumble before heading back outside. While lightning is beautiful to watch, it can be deadly. So when it roars, go indoors. Isabella Fredrickson, News 4, Tucson.
Great tips, Isabella. Thank you very much. And here are some tips to keep you safe inside of your home during, well, a lightning storm. Wait to use any plumbing like showers or sinks. Plumbing does conduct electricity. Folks, this is not a myth. Never touch wiring during a storm. If you still have a corded phone, they can also be very dangerous. Lightning can travel through the telephone wires and can kill you. However, cell phones are safe. Unplug expensive electronics, including TVs, stereos, and computers, or at least make sure they're plugged into a surge-protected outlet or power strip. And don't play video games that are connected to the TV. Lightning strikes are especially dangerous when there's a lot of vegetation and things are very dry. We had some deep freezes this winter that slid us right into a, well, pretty gorgeous spring, but those blooming grasses and flowers are always short-lived, and now as we roll into summer, they pose a real wildfire danger. That's exactly what we saw happen 3 years ago when ground strikes from a summer storm set off a bighorn fire. The flames swept across the Catalina Mountains, charring nearly 120,000 acres and closing Mount Lemmon for months. Until the monsoon rains begin this year, the chance of more wildfires remains very high. Before the monsoon ramps into gear, we see hot temperatures and dry conditions that can lead to wildfires, which can spread very quickly in dry vegetation. Storm Tracker 4 meteorologist Daniel McFarland joins us now with what we can do to prevent these disasters.
Well, Matt, looking behind me, you do see a lot of dry vegetation. So this time of year, it's not only very hot, but you have a lot of that dry brush around. But there is plenty we can do to prevent forest fires, since 85% of them are human-caused. Increasing temperatures and weak monsoons lead to increased fire danger. We saw the large bighorn fire back in 2020 burn almost 120,000 acres. With the mega drought we are currently in, more large fires will be possible in the coming years. But it takes the fire department's prescriptions and the general public to work together to prevent these disasters.
How to be fire safe or fire wise and having defensible space in their homes, and then also having them to have plans to be ready in case a wildfire does happen in their area.
Dry conditions are needed for fires to start. Overall, this previous climate cycle between 2004 and 2023 saw 8 years with under 10 inches of rain. Compare that to the cycle before, between 1984 and 2003, where we only saw 4 years with under 10 inches of rain.
It seems that the longer the fire season goes, the bigger the fires seem to get, which is rare when we talk about weather and historical patterns.
And historical patterns back this up. According to the National Interagency Fire Center, On average, we're seeing about 15,000 less fires across the country than we were in the early 1990s. However, we are seeing on average 3 to 5 million more acres burned in that same stretch of time. Eddie Delvira, who lives in Rio Rico, went through the Beehive fire during June of 2023 and says it was tough to see a fire like that happen so close to home.
I love the wilderness and I hate to see it burn down, And it's been around it, hunting, it was young and all that, so I love it. I love the green.
And the way we stand right now, we haven't had rain at the Tucson airport in about 80 days. But once monsoon gets going, that will be bringing down that wildfire danger. Back to you.
Yeah, we certainly can't wait for that rain, Daniel. All right, Arizona's wildfire season has begun, and a new report shows fires are becoming bigger and burning for longer in our state, all due to various unwanted pests. The desert is slowly changing into grasslands with invasive species filling in patchy areas and adding more fuel on the ground for these fires. These species are carrying fires or making fires hotter, more dangerous, faster moving. Researchers said it's important to take action such as creating areas for fire breaks. Leaving native plants alone and weed eating and burning invasive ones also helps prevent these fires from spreading. Coming up on this special edition of News 4 Tucson, as things are heating up, are you ready? Knowing what to do can be the difference between life and death. And still ahead, temperatures can become blazing hot inside of your car. We're telling you how to avoid an accidental catastrophe when it comes to your little one. And welcome back to this special edition of News 4 Tucson, preparing for monsoon 2024. Guys, you cannot have the monsoon rains and storms without first experience the relentless heat. And being prepared can be the difference between life and death. Storm Tracker 4 forecaster Isabella Fredrickson has what we need to know so you're ready to deal with this excessive heat.
It's the hottest part of the year here in southern Arizona, and these triple-digit temperatures are dangerous and can turn deadly. So it's crucial that you practice safe habits to keep you and your family safe. We have already seen our first excessive heat watch and warning of the year, and many underestimate just how dangerous these hot temperatures can be. It is essential to stay hydrated and drink a lot of water. Spending prolonged time outside and doing outdoor activities such as hiking can become dangerous very quickly. I spoke with Numan Mahmood, who is a resident physician and hiker. He tells me he's seen far too many patients who've come in with heat-related illnesses.
But just by virtue of my job, we have patients all the time who come in who do suffer from dehydration. They're found down, dizzy. I've seen the effects of heat exhaustion after they've already been treated and whatnot.
Sergeant Steve Ferry with the Pima County Search and Rescue says if you are going to hike or do anything outside, you have to plan ahead.
We always recommend start your hike early. Be done with your hike before the peak of the heat. If you can be done by 10, no later than noon, just because you're really not getting any relief after that point.
If you are not continuously hydrating, especially while you are sweating, chances of experiencing a heat-related illness goes up. Early signs of heat-related illnesses include feeling dizzy, nauseous, or muscle spasms or cramps in your arms, legs, or abs. If you ignore these symptoms, things will only get worse and potentially life-threatening. Dr. Numan Mahmood says the best thing to do as soon as you experience these symptoms is to get indoors and drink as much fluids as you can to avoid a medical emergency. If you know you have to spend a prolonged period of time outside, remember to wear loose and lighter fitting clothing and of course limit your time outdoors as much as possible. Isabella Fredrickson, News 4, Tucson.
Isabella, thank you very much. And excessive heat has proven deadly in the past. In 2023, there were 176 heat-related deaths in Pima County alone and 645 heat-related deaths in Maricopa County. That is a 50% increase from 2022. This, according to the Arizona Department of Health Services. Staying cool in triple-digit temperatures is crucial to your safety. Some tips to bear the heat include, well, avoid strenuous outdoor activity. Stay indoors as much as possible during the hottest times of the day. Wear light and loose-fitting clothing, and of course, stay hydrated. The Piedmont County Board of Supervisors recently voted yes in collaboration with Humane Borders to build water stations across remote portions of the county. We're told $30,000 will now go toward installing and maintaining these portable water stations. The goal is to reduce those deaths due to dehydration and heat exposure in remote Sonoran Desert areas. Right now, Arizona ranks 4th in the country for hot car deaths during triple-digit temperatures. Well, these minutes are very crucial. Inside of the vehicle could reach those temperatures as high as 130 degrees.
The inside of a vehicle, it acts like a greenhouse. It heats up very quickly. It can reach deadly temperatures for a child within a matter of minutes.
Kids in cars, safety is calling on the public to be prepared to take action if you see a child or pet alone in a car. You are instructed to not wait for the driver to return. Please call 911 right away. If the child or pet is not responsive, get them out of the car by any means necessary and move them to a cooler environment. Dampen them with cool water or wet rags and stay with them until help arrives. Also, keep in mind, breaking a car window is legal in Arizona if you believe the child or pet's life is in danger. With extreme heat on the way, it's important to keep not only your safety in mind, but also your pets. On a 100-degree day, for example, the asphalt can reach up to 160 degrees. So before taking your dog for a walk, a good rule of thumb is to put the back of your hand on the ground for 10 seconds. If you can hold it there without burning, well, then it's safe to take the pup out for the stroll. Some other tips include giving your pet plenty of water, as they can get dehydrated very quickly, just like you and me. Also, be sure to avoid taking them out during the hottest times of the day. Coming up on this special edition of News 4 Tucson, heavy rains could turn deadly in the desert without the proper response. How to avoid getting swept away during a flash flood. Welcome back to the special edition of News 4 Tucson. We are preparing for Monsoon 2024. Flash floods are the biggest non-heat related weather killer in the United States. In 2023, 79 people died across the country due to flash flooding. Large majority of those people were in their cars. Storm Tracker 4 meteorologist Daniel McFarland joins us now with ways to stay safe when you see those flash flood warnings.
And Matt, this is when people really underestimate. They just kind of think heavy rain, but really when you have a flash flood, especially if you live closer towards the mountain, it could be rushing down into some of those washes, making it very dangerous to be on the roads. Flash floods are the most dangerous kinds of floods because they combine the destructive power of a regular flood with the fast-moving speed of a river. Flash floods occur when heavy rainfall exceeds the ability of the ground to absorb the water in a proper amount of time. Easy things you can do before the rain hits is to make sure there is no debris in drains and gutters around your house, and check that there's not already standing water near your home, especially during the day after a heavy rainstorm.
You know how to plan for those future events. So whether that's getting sandbags, getting additional food and water so you have to shelter in place, finding a friend to go stay with over the weekend, or finding safe evacuation routes. Do that planning ahead of time when conditions are a little bit more dry, so when the floods do come or a storm does come, you have that knowledge and that ability to get out ahead of time.
When you know runoff might be an issue, it's a good idea to set up those sandbags before the storm hits, and there are locations where you can go pick up sand for free in some communities. One thing sandbags won't be able to stop is damage done to trees that could be swept away in a flash flood. Thankfully, the city has crews on standby to clean up flood-prone areas after the rain ends.
We've got a lot of trees that have been knocked down in the roadways. So not only are they working on the dip crossings, but they're also clearing the roadways of trees and limbs and other debris.
Runoff and debris are the biggest contributors to flash floods when heavy rain hits. Avoid roadways that have washes going through them, especially in the foothills during heavy rain, because those washes can fill up fast. It takes as little as 6 inches of water for your car to be swept away in a flash flood. And I know something you've heard a lot over the years is turn around, don't drown. That's definitely something to keep in mind. Matt?
It sure is, Daniel. All right, flash flooding isn't just dangerous for drivers. It can actually cause millions of dollars worth of damage to your home and property. If you live in a flood-prone area, make sure to have that evacuation plan ready. Have materials on hand like sandbags to protect from rising waters and plywood and plastic sheeting to make emergency repairs after the storm. Also check into flood insurance coverage. You should know that flood losses are not typically covered under normal homeowners insurance policies. Storms can be rough on your vehicle when you're out there on the roadways, but they can also do major damage to your home. That's why the city of Tucson is offering free sandbags to the public. They can be picked up at the High Corbett Field East parking lot at Reed Park. Sand and bags are provided, but bring your own shovel. The free sandbag program will be available until mid-September. Pima County also has 11 stations where you can fill up your sandbags. You can find that full list on our website, kvoa.com/monsoon. Monsoon storms can cause pets to become anxious. The Pima Animal Care Center has a few tips for pet owners to help make the season less stressful for your furry little friends. Loud storms during the monsoon can scare pets, but creating noise distractions can help. PAC says to keep your pets indoors during storms, turn on radios, and have some sort of noise and distraction from the thunder and lightning that occur. PAC also says the shelter sees an increase in stray pets after a monsoon storm. So pet owners, if your dog or cat goes missing, please be sure to check your local shelters. The arrival of the monsoon means an increase in moisture, which is a welcoming change for many pests. And with heavy rain and flooding, this could also lead to an increase in the number of mosquitoes, as they tend to experience a boom in their populations due to the favorable breeding conditions. To help fight the bite, experts encourage using bug spray during dawn and dusk and wearing long sleeves and pants. Also be sure to remove any standing water, even small amounts, around pots of plants to help reduce a potential breeding ground. Coming up on this special edition of News 4 Tucson, a blinding sight, how dust and sand in the air may indicate you're in danger and what to do if you are behind the wheel. In a special edition of News 4 Tucson, preparing for Monsoon 2024. All right, guys, dust storms are common during the monsoon, especially in open deserts. They are often also a precursor to severe weather that could move into your direction. Storm Tracker 4 meteorologist Daniel McFarland joins us again with the dangers of these dust storms. Daniel, these can be scary things. What can you tell us about this to stay safe?
Yeah, absolutely. They can be very scary. In fact, dust storms have covered the entire city of Tucson at times over the years, and the worst spot to be is, of course, in your car, especially along I-10.
Makes it dangerous. Nobody wants to get on that interstate.
Grace Clark is one of many residents who live between San Simon and Benson in Cochise County, or in Pinal County north of Tucson, that deal with these dangerous storms multiple times a year. Another dangerous spot is near Picacho Peak, where visibility can drop to near zero in a few seconds, and many drivers do not know what to do when this happens.
The best way to drive in a dust storm is to not drive into a dust storm. If you see that big wall of dust approaching, get off the highway and wait it out. However, if you find that you are in a dust storm, our advice is pull aside, stay alive.
Flat land with no barriers and areas that have not seen much rainfall are most vulnerable, which is why I-10 between Tucson and Phoenix is the worst area for dust storms. Dust storms come from outflows of thunderstorms. A strong thunderstorm outflow will pick up loose soil and dirt and lift it into the air. The dust can be a mile high and 100 miles wide. Dust storm warnings are issued by the National Weather Service, and they can be tracked before they reach the interstate. So if you know it could be a bad weather day, keep the radio on and listen for alerts. These storms can last from a few minutes to a few hours and can vary in severity. If you find yourself outside and you see a dust storm approaching, it's best to get indoors to avoid damage to your lungs. And when it comes to a dust storm, remember, as we talked about before, thunderstorms typically follow them, so watch out for that, especially if you're along those roads. Matt.
All right, great advice, Danielle. Thank you very much. Remember, guys, in a dust storm, pull aside, stay alive. If you run into a dust storm and cannot avoid driving into it, here are some tips that can save you from a crash. First, pull off the roadway as far and as safely as you can. Then turn off your headlights and taillights. Make sure to put your vehicle into park and make sure to take your foot off the brake. You don't want other drivers to see your lights when visibility is low, and try to follow them. Well, we hope you've enjoyed this Preparing for Monsoon 2024 special. Our Storm Tracker 4 team will be here for you all monsoon long, so be sure to head to our monsoon headquarters. Online or on your mobile device for the latest on those dangerous threats and what to do to remain safe. That's all for now. I'm Storm Tracker 4 Chief Meteorologist Matt Brode. Enjoy the monsoon safely, everybody.